he wants to talk about flag burning. I mean, as someone who's so active in politics, what is it that you think we can do? What should we be looking out for? What can we do to prevent things like this vote being passed by only one?
And that's just an example of the many things, the many
absolutely.
questionable things by Orrin Hatch.
Well, he's up for re-election. He's up for re-election, and he right now is scared shitless because Bob Bennett, the other
cannibal.
But the thing is that I have family that are in the Mormon establishment to a degree, and I have a cousin that is a delegate, literally a delegate for the Republican Mormon Republican Mormon Party. I almost said that too right, but anyways, the Utah Republican Party. Anyways, he personally said the delegates ousted Bob Bennett and said, we are done with your shit, because Bob Bennett's been there for a long time as well. And so it kind of scared the shit out of Orrin Hatch, and now Orrin Hatch is clinging to the Tea Party. This is the first time that he's been scared that I've seen in my political awareness. Like, this is the first time that I've seen him be scared. So the cool thing is that he can be voted out. Utah's not a very big state. There are a lot of people like us, but none of us vote. You know what I mean? No people. You know what I mean?
Our bad.
And that's
Sorry.
That's the thing that sucks, because I really am disenfranchised as far as voting in a presidential election. I find it so disgusting, but that disenfranchisement trickles down, and it's like the guys who become the senators usually become the president. So if the states would be more serious about these fucking clowns that they send to Washington, that the day they get there stop representing them and start representing their fucking wallet, we all know, or their power grab, their dick, whatever you want to call it. It's funny. It's just funny that it trickles up. We can stop it if people do register to vote and be more proactive than registering to vote. Let these fuckers in Utah that keep putting this clown, this warmongering, constitution-hating clown back up there, let them know that there are people like us here that believe in freedom, really, instead of this fucking bumper sticker freedom that they all believe.
Well put.
There's my spiel.
The Mormons have lost their seize and take mentality. At least, like, the ones in Salt Lake are fat and allowing these scumbag people like Orrin Hatch, Harry Reid, they're left and right, but they're on the same fucking team. Like,
gotcha.
They're shaking hands behind the ass left and right. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's offensive to me as a Mormon who appreciates heritage and not getting trampled on and letting scumbags, you know what I mean, trample virtues. Like, it's ridiculous.
All right, nicely put. Thank you, Colby. And so we have our next segment is called it is aptly called Johnny's Jihad. That's Yahya Dawood, right? Did I say that right?
Yes, you did.
And it's our Ask a Muslim segment, if you will, because even in youth and here in Western culture, it doesn't. Maybe Johnny's that torch to maybe he can shed a little light on some things that we all have misinterpreted and miscommunicated, whatever. And so on our Facebook, you can get on and you can ask a question to Yahya here, and he will answer it. And if the question's genuine and you're really curious to know, he'll answer the question, and
I will certainly do my best.
There you go. He'll do his best, and you might learn a thing or two. So this next segment is called Johnny's Jihad. Okay, so Johnny, I want you to give us an outline on the conditions of the questions that people can ask you.
Okay, so basically, what we're doing here is the conditions of the questions that we will answer are things legitimately pertaining to Islam, the religion, any sort of knowledge therein. Basically, all we're going to do is we'll just defer all questions that seem to be intentionally slanderous or what's the word we should ingenuine. There we go.
Okay, so I think everyone's curious. When did you convert?
I converted December of last year, so that would be roughly 6 months, going on 7 months.
Okay, and so what was it about? What drew you to the Islamic religion? What drew you to Islam?
Essentially, it was I had grown up raised in the LDS and Christian faiths, so I was familiar with scriptural text and the belief that there is one God and His creation. And in doing so throughout my life's journeys, basically, I've read several texts. I've been through the Torah or the Talmud. I've been through the Bible, Old and New Testaments, the Book of Mormon, Pearl of Great Price, Doctrine and Covenants, as well as the Quran. And at the time, my first read-through of the Quran didn't really hold much water to me. I thought it was great, and there were some great ideals in there. But it wasn't the right time, I guess, for me spiritually. And so I continued on my journey and went through several different experiences ultimately, and then met some people who were Muslim. At the place I work, and they had been inviting me for months to attend mosque, which I had never been to before.
And this is a local terrorist cell, right? This is a local terrorist cell that you're talking about?
Neither confirm nor deny. We're of course kidding. We're of course joking.
We're kidding.
Absolutely not. It is not at all. But in fact, actually, upon my first experience, I must admit I was hesitant.
Right.
Upon entering the mosque, I didn't. I didn't know what to expect, and the first thing is some old man kind of got stern with me for not removing my shoes almost immediately after stepping onto the blue carpet from the tile. So about 10 steps inside the mosque, there's this huge area for shoes. And only 2 benches to sit down on and take your shoes off. And these are smaller than your average park bench. And so I was, really nervous because I also didn't know at the last moment the sister who had driven me there hadn't told me that there was a separation for the prayer between the men and the women. So I was completely by myself inside of this mosque. I didn't know anyone there, and I was really nervous. Not to mention I didn't speak any Arabic at the time. So I had no idea what to expect, and I remember over this loudspeaker I could hear this guy and this almost tirade in Arabic. No idea what this guy's talking about, but everyone, I walk in there, after I remove my shoes, I step through these glass doors, and there's, a good 40, 50 people sitting on the floor, and people just pouring in from all directions still. And I was just, so I sat against the back wall and stayed there, kind of off to, kept to myself. And, I stayed near the back in case anything happened. I'd be ready to leave real quick, if I had to get out, because I wasn't sure what to expect, really. But, once that was done, he immediately started speaking English, perfect English, and basically said, this is what I was talking about. He went through it, and, I immediately became at ease, and I felt like it was something that I definitely needed to give more thought to. And considering myself an open-minded person, I kind of reprimanded myself internally for having any sort of hesitation for going inside of such a spiritual place.
Right.
And ever since then, I began attending regularly every Friday and just going to listen to the talks, And
where can people here in Utah, if they're interested, what's the best place? What's the best direction if they're just slightly curious? What's the best direction for them to go in?
We have a website called utahmuslims.org, and that will give you directions to all sorts of Islamic businesses as well as all of the mosques, or they're called masjids, all around the area. We have several actually that you never even know we're there. So that
Gotcha.
would be a definitely good stepping stone. And if you know anyone of that faith, definitely talk to them.
Awesome. Okay, so that's good. That's a good start. And so my first question here is I've heard so many different things about Sharia law. Some of them that were just blatantly, I don't know about that. And some of them were pretty questionable and interesting. And so I'm really curious to hear, just kind of straight out of the horse's mouth, what is Sharia law?
Sharia law, actually, let's get right down to it. In English, it's translated to the way or the path. So, I mean, having said that, that's essentially self-explanatory. What it is, it's basically our accepted code of conduct for everything from worship to dietary laws, sexuality, hygiene, economics even. So it really covers everything. It is essentially our code of conduct. And it's comprised actually of the Sunnah, which means lifestyle of the Prophet, as well as excerpts from the Quran. So the two things that coincide with each other, we've taken, compiled together, and this is the Sharia law.
Right. Okay, so they handle all of economical, core, everything is Sharia law covers all of that stuff.
Yes, it is. It's the complete code of conduct. It's the word of wisdom to the Mormons, to the Sharia law to us.
Okay, and are there any things, what is the difference? Like, give us an example. Like, what is the hygiene? What is the hygiene aspect of Sharia law?
Hygiene aspect would be as part of our salah or prayers, what we do is we actually perform ablution, or wudu they call it, which means we wash our hands, our arms up to the elbow, our feet, our face, our ears, our mouth, and our head. And when washing our mouth, common practice is to actually brush your teeth. So as we pray 5 times a day, if given the opportunity, we're also brushing our teeth 5 times a day.
Oh, jeez.
So as well as having excellent teeth, it also covers things such as bathroom, what to do after using the restroom, as far as washing your genitals, things like that, washing your hands, of course, all of these things, because you need to be as clean as possible when praying.
Gotcha.
What? It's just so crazy that Colgate and like Johnson & Johnson haven't tried to tap this market
Dude,
already.
really? Very good point.
Lamb flavored
They
toothpaste.
actually have. We have we have a stick, essentially a root,
Chewing.
that we peel the bark off of and we chew on, and when it mixes with your saliva, it becomes soft and almost bristly. It kind of separates naturally from itself, and it's called miswak or suwak, and it's basically like a toothbrush, but when that mixes with your saliva, it's every bit as effective as toothpaste. However, Colgate, I believe it was Colgate, actually has miswak flavored toothpaste.
They beat
I've
you to
seen.
the punch, Jake. Sorry, buddy.
What?
About tapping into the market, because he's saying the Colgate has an Islamic toothbrush, so to speak.
Nice.
They have essentially an Islamic toothbrush flavored toothpaste.
Awesome.
Wrap your head around that one.
So, is there anything? Okay, so like you've lived in America long enough. You were born here. You're an American.
Texan.
Indeed.
Oh yeah, he was born in Texas. That's
I
right.
was.
Filthy
It's a
Texan.
different breed of American.
So, what is it? Is there anything here in like American culture or the American law that kind of conflicts with Sharia law?
Well, absolutely, it's not accepted here. Sharia law isn't accepted here at all, except for
Right.
in matters of family. So family disputes, things like that, how to discipline your children, what's acceptable for your children to, intake. So it deals a lot with the diet and things, as well as like the knowledge, what your children are saying, as far as what's on TV, what's on the internet. But yeah, it completely conflicts with it. It's not accepted here.
So,
But philosophically, I think is what he means. Do the Americans? I mean, because you said that that Sharia law is only accepted in the United States